Good afternoon. My name is Phil Hewitt, Group Arts Editor at Sussex Newspapers. Fantastic to be speaking to Zoe Birkett, who is on her way to Crawley, the Hawth, July the 24th to the 29th with the Bodyguard. Now, what a fabulous role. But the really interesting thing is that you are coming back to it after 8 years or so, but coming back to it, you were saying, a very different person. What's changed?
Absolutely. The first time round, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I mean, firstly, if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be returning.
Yeah.
Especially as a creative artist, it's I've got to be in love with the role to be able to do it. In the first time around, I had such a great experience. I loved it. I loved the feedback as well from all the fans. But I wasn't a mother then. I wasn't a wife. I was a very different, person, very different actress, very different vocalist. And over the last years, I've just, grown a lot, and so it's really nice. It's funny. I've got my script right here as I've been working. It's really nice to go back to the story and back to the text as a different as well, and reread it and go, oh, I didn't read that like that 8 years ago. So now I read it differently.
So it feels different then.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And do you see more in the character of Rachel because your circumstances have changed?
Of course. I mean, listen, I'm not a mega superstar, how Rachel is perceived within the story, but we definitely have similarities. I've worked professionally all of my life and hustled and knocked down doors since I've been 16 years old, professionally within the industry. And to say that 20 years on I'm still successful in an industry that is very, very fickle and can blow people out after a couple of years. I have that that strength, like Rachel has. So I'm very familiar with that, with playing that type of role. Of course, I'm in love. I know what it feels like to be loved. I'm a mother, so I can relate to Rachel as a mother as well, and how it must feel to have a stalker come into your own home. And that's part of the story. The stalker manages to get inside the house, and to be able to put my own emotions within that now. It's very, very different to how I did it 8 years ago.
Yeah. It'd be fabulous to put the two performances side by side and spot the difference. They will be different, won't they?
It was going to be really, really nice.
Brilliant. And this comes as part of busy summer leading up to your first ever trip to the National as a performer. That's quite something in September.
Yeah, I am so excited. This year, the last 2 years have just been, a real whoa for me, to be honest. Like, is this happening?
Yeah.
Rouge original cast after the pandemic, which of course after the pandemic you kind of don't know as a performer what's going on. Are things going to open? Is it a big production's going to happen? Is it going to stay open? There's COVID will affect us again, and so to go through all that panic and then to be part of Moulin Rouge, one of the biggest productions in the world that I've been part of, the most athletic, the most demanding and challenging. I won Best Supporting Performer off the back of that. I then did Great British Bake Off earlier this year after Moulin Rouge. I finished that in May. To then go into Bodyguard for 5 weeks, and then to head national until February. I'm like, this has been a crazy, crazy time.
But what makes it even more crazy is the fact that you've had this fabulous couple of years after 2 completely blank years, haven't you? Do you think theatre has changed, or is it now back to where it was?
I think it's the industry. I think itself has changed quite a lot.
In what way?
Of course, I mean, listen, producers, have to be careful in investing in certain, pieces as well. You've got to because they have to make money back from the money that has been lost, of course, throughout the pandemic. But also there's also a lot more creativity because people were locked indoors as well for 2 years. Been some amazing workshops out there that people are just like, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to try. People have this, this mentality of there's nothing to lose now. We're going to come back strong. We're going to keep fighting, and we have a lot of people. I'm not going to lie. A lot of close friends of mine kind of gave up and went in a different area. But there's been quite a few people who have really stuck at it, and my other friends be one of them. And it's I'm just feel blessed and honoured that continue to kind of keep at it really and keep growing.
As ever, it just rewards determination, doesn't it? Clearly.
Yeah, it's
But do you think audiences are back as strongly as they were?
Yes, I really do. I do. I mean, my first performance back was Moulin Rouge, and of course, as soon as the hey, sister, go, sister, so. And you hear the audience is just going crazy. I was like, oh, people are wanting it. They want to forget of what, the things that's happened. They want, that new lease of life. We're also in the middle of course, a critical financial situation within, the country and the world as well. And people need an escapism as well still. Even, even it's finished, we're still, dealing with repercussions of that. So people are wanting 2 hours of a great time.
Fantastic. And yeah, a show like The Bodyguard really takes you out of yourself. It's so absorbing. You can't think of anything else, can you?
Yeah. From the beginning, from all the songs of Whitney Houston, her catalogue, everybody loves them. You can't not. And at the end, we do invite you to sing along at the end, when invited only.
And not before.
Yeah, that's part of it as a performer. I want to be able to look out at a crowd and see people smiling, see people crying at the story. That shows to me that I've taken you on a journey, and that's a big box tick for me as an actress and a vocalist.
Fantastic. We'll have a really, really happy return to The Bodyguard, and congratulations on that first show at the National in September. Really lovely to speak to you, Zoe. Thank you so much.